The primeval age, the primeval age of the earth and the moon, the creation of Adam and Eve. Now I will show you the organic creation from the first to the last and from the smallest to the greatest, and how I made everything out of my love and wisdom and the everlasting order out of both, which is the word of eternal might and power deep within the deity. And behold, there does not exist anything in all the spaces of infinity, be it great or small, that was not made through it. Behold and listen. So the earth had come into existence, and there were the moon, the sun, and the stars. But the earth was still bare, and its surface was still like the surface of the sea. Dense clouds were hovering above the waters, extending deep into the dead spaces of the worlds, and the light of the sun was unable to illumine the drop of mercy. The moon was covered by the vapor of the drop, and only in this vapor was the earth born, and the moon nourished, and like a hen sitting on her chicks. The sun was above both of them with the rays of its light, and the warmth from the warmth of the loving God, maturing the earth and separating the moon from the breast of his mother. Thereupon the dense clouds parted and settled upon the stillness of the poles. The girdle of the earth became freed, and the sun beheld itself in the waters, and the earth gratefully reflected the received light into the vast bosom of the sun, and with wide open eyes watched the moon bathing in the rays flowing from the sun of the grace of eternal love. And behold and listen to this. The earth felt content, for she was filled with the love of mercy, and saw her darling, the moon, revolve briskly around her, and love swelled her white bosom with the breath of mercy, as if she wanted once more to after the child her breast filled with the milk of grace. But the milk coagulated through the warmth of merciful love, and became firm land towering above the seas. And the seas sank back into the depths and were like the water that separates from the coagulated milk, to appease the indwelling wrath through the salt of grace by the mercy of love, out of God in all the power and might. And lo, it became calm on earth and in all the spaces of God's infinity, and for the first time eternal love fully descended to the earth, and in its almightiness and power breathed over the surface of the earth. And behold, a variety of herbs, plants, bushes, and trees sprouted from the firm parts of the earth, and the seas, lakes, streams, rivers, brooks, and springs teemed with all kinds of worms, fish, and animals, and the air was filled with birds of all kinds, and the number of all the various species in the waters, on the land, and in the air was like the number of man, who was made from this number, and was like the number of the grace of love, and was like the number of the future salvation and the rebirth resulting from it. And behold and comprehend what until now no one has beheld and comprehended. Eternal love took that number out of itself, and the number was the order, and the eternal law within it, out of which and within which eternal love has forever existed, is still existing, and will be existing in all the might and power of the holiness of God. And it took clay, which is the cream of the coagulated milk, and with the hand of its might and the hand of its power, according to the number of its order, formed the first man, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And the breath became a living soul within him, and the soul fully pervaded the man who was made in accordance to the number of the order, from which all the in the spaces of infinity, and the earth and everything on it, and the moon and the sun. And lo, the first man on earth, who came forth from the hands of the might and power of eternal love, was called by the mouth of merciful grace Adam, or son of mercy and grace. Now take good note of this. This Adam was in the place of the first of the fallen spirits. It was not shown to him who he was, and since he did not recognize himself and could not find anything that was like him, he became bored, and behold, imperceptible to the still blind eyes of his soul. Eternal love breathed on him, and for the first time he fell asleep within the sweetness of merciful love, whereupon merciful love formed in the heart of Adam, as though in a pleasant dream, a figure similar to him, of great charm and beauty. And eternal love saw what great joy Adam experienced through the inner contemplation of his second self. Then merciful love touched him on the side where he had been given a heart, similar to the heart of the deity, for the reception of love and life from the love in God, thereby it took away his self-love in order to prepare a dwelling place for itself through the future law of merciful grace, and set the self-love, which gave Adam so much pleasure, outside of him in a material body, and called it Keva, or as you are used to say, Eve. This was in preparation of the deliverance from self-love and the therefrom resulting rebirth. And behold, merciful love touched him, and awakened him for the contemplation of his self-love outside of him, and saw that he had great delight in the contemplation of his love outside of him, and was extremely cheerful. And this love, which was now called Eve, had pleasure in the man Adam, bent towards him and followed his every movement. And behold, eternal love addressed Adam for the first time. Adam, and he spoke for the first time, Here I am, Lord of glory, might and power. And eternal love spoke again, Behold your helpmate. And Eve answered, Behold, O Lord, the maid lying obediently at the feet of your Son, and awaiting his orders. And behold, merciful love found great pleasure in the works of its might, and power through the grace of its mercy, and continued to speak and instruct them in all things, teaching them to know, to name, and how to use them. And when they understood and knew all things and were able to use them, merciful love again spoke to them. Now you have learned of all things. You know them and are able to use them, except for one thing. And this I will now teach you and put into you the power to procreate and reproduce your kind. But you are not allowed to use it before my return, when I find you clothed with a garment of obedience, humility, faithfulness, and chastity. However, woe upon you, if I find you naked, I shall cast you out, and the consequence will be death.